What is going on, gamblers? Welcome back to another edition of the Sharp Action Report. This one's for UFC 284. I am joined by my guy, Andrew from Superbook Sports. He's going to give us a peek across the desk, let us know where the Sharps have been placing their action on UFC 284. He might also let us know if there's any landmines. If you want to fade the public, if you want to tail the Sharps, that's the info we're getting for you here on this show. Andrew, happy Friday, my guy. How you doing today?
Happy Friday. Man, overwhelmed with these Super Bowl props. Excited for the Super Bowl to be over so I can focus a lot more on the fight cards. I mean, this card's going to be amazing. I'm hoping the main event lives up to expectations. And, yeah, excited to talk about some fights.
I'm pumped. For everybody listening to the show right now, first off, shout out to my guy MMA Long from Pub Sports Radio. Hit the like button. But besides that, make sure you guys show Andrew some love, because if you don't know, UFC 284 is not the only thing happening right now. They are flooded with everything going on with the Super Bowl on Sunday. So for him to take a chunk of his time out and share with us on this weekend means more than probably most weekends, because there's a big event coming up that they've got to deal with. So thank you all very much. Do have to give a real quick shout out. We've got Michael with the $2 donation in the chat. Thank you for supporting us here at Pub Sports Radio, and especially the Die Hard related content, Michael. We appreciate you very, very much. Andrew, let's not keep the people waiting too much longer. Let's dig straight on into this bad boy. First fight of the night, we've got Zubaira Tukhugov welcoming Elvis Brenner to the cage. Big, fat, juicy, minus 600 favorite on Zubaira Tukhugov. Is there anything noteworthy on this fight on your end of the table?
No, so we opened Zubaira at $5. It's sitting $6. I'd say it's mostly really due to the public betting. There's a lot of parlay money on the favorite here on this fight. I wouldn't say anything too notable. We did take a large bet on the under in this fight, so I'm assuming they're thinking he might be able to get him out of here pretty quickly. I don't know too much about Brenner, but yeah, I mean the way the line's moving, it seems like one-way action really.
Okay. I'm tempted on that under myself, frankly. I know it was plus 105 a little bit earlier in the week, so I see you guys have moved it a couple of cents here, it looks like. But yeah, I have been eyeballing that under 2.5 because I kind of agree with the sentiment that either Tukhugov is just that much better than Brenner and should be able to get him out of there, or they are having him move up to 155 for this fight. Perhaps Elvis, being a bigger, more natural human being, has the opportunity to finish Zubaira early. I kind of like violence. Have not pulled the trigger on that yet, but the way Zuby fights close with everybody, man, there's no way I'm laying minus 600 on him. That price tag is way too much chalk for me.
Yeah, that's the only real big bet. Like I said, it's mostly parlay money. When you get these big line discrepancies, yeah, you're not going to see a too much sharp action unless they unload the dump truck. But yeah, it's mostly parlay money on this one.
I hear you. I can't wait for this next one, though, man. There's a couple of Twitter tug of war spots this week, and this one's one of them. Shane Young taking on Blake Builder. We've got minus 135 for Shane, plus 115 for Blake. Even though he's the UFC newcomer, I kind of lean dog or pass. What have you guys seen from the betting market so far?
Yeah, so we opened this one at 120 on Shane Young. He opened up at 120 favorite. He's sitting 140 here in Vegas. We've taken some small bets on Shane Young. Nothing that I would recommend anybody betting. So, I mean, maybe if you like the dog, take a shot here. There's nothing that's telling me or the book to book it one way. It's pretty even money both ways. But there's a small line movement in Shane Young's direction. We took a decent-sized bet on the under as well in this one, so they're looking for some action in these first two fights.
Honestly, that makes some sense to me. The way that Blake, the way he fights, the way we've seen him on tape, I mean, he's a finisher, and Shane Young is a guy that's hittable and also has some finishing upside. I don't mind the underlook on that one so much myself. Next up, we got Elise Reed taking on Loma Lookboonmee. This one's a big fat favorite in Loma, minus 300. Elise Reed, the plus 250 underdog. I've noticed a decent amount of line movement here. The favorite seems to be catching the steam. I'm wondering if that's parlay money or if people coming in and laying down the wood.
Yeah, so early on we had somebody come in and lay Loma at 260. It's sitting at $3 now. A lot of parlay money, like you said, on this one. We currently need the dog. There hasn't been much interest in dog money, even as we've moved this price up. Yeah, so that's where we're sitting right now. We're sitting $3 here in Nevada. A lot of action on parlay. Somebody laid it early, and there hasn't been much resistance. No one's looking for the dog here thus far.
Okay. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I'm looking at Loma as a parlay piece myself. That's kind of the one fight spot on this card that I really kind of tend to like. Hot take: Loma by submission might be something that I sprinkle just a little bit here.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see what I end up doing, but I agree with the heavy favorite on that one. Don Shane is taking on Jack Jenkins. You and I were talking about it backstage, man. There's just so much of a lack of information on some of these fights. We don't know jack about some of these guys. Pun not intended. What do you have on this one? Because Jack is a minus 340 favorite, and it seems like that makes sense, but I don't know if I want to lay minus 340 on a guy that I know next to nothing about.
This is another one similar to the last fight we just spoke about. We opened Jack here at 320. We're sitting $4 here. We did take a sharp bet on Jenkins early on at 320. There hasn't been much resistance as we've moved this one up. It doesn't seem like people are too interested in the dog. Maybe it's because we don't know too much about this fight, but I would say it's very similar to the Luma fight, where we have a lot of parlay money on the favorite. This guy was actually a sharp guy, laid it early, and there's just hasn't been much resistance on the dog yet. So that's where we're sitting here.
Yeah, after Don Shanice's UFC debut, it's hard to argue, man. He did not look good. You're never going to get people wanting to, jump on that after he looked so bad. So I kind of get it, but both guys still have a lot to prove, in my opinion. Jamie Malarkey taking on Francisco Prado, another decent-sized favorite. Jamie Malarkey, another city kickboxing fighter here. I get him being the favorite in this spot as well. Kind of like in the under, maybe a little bit. But at the same time, I'm noticing that number may have moved just a tad. So what do you guys got going on?
Yeah, so we opened this one, Malarkey 240. It's sitting 270. So there's been some action on the favorite. Nothing too crazy. But we did take a very big bet on the under on this fight. A newer customer, I'm not going to put a label on this individual, but he definitely fires and bets a lot of money. And right now, we've been trying to write some money back on the over, but he fired on the under. So that's where we're sitting on this one.
Yeah, the under has had my attention all week, man. That's something I've been very much considering betting, just because Jamie Malarkey, he seems to get tagged early in every single fight, and he's been finished a couple times. So, you can't expect him to always be able to come back from that kind of heat. And it also could be an auditing process for his opponent, Francisco Prado, if he's not quite UFC ready. Jamie has a tendency to break people. So I agree with that underlook. That'd be kind of the way I'd be looking too.
Yeah. I don't disagree with it. Malarkey usually does go for it too. So, I mean, either guy could get a finish here, and I would not be surprised.
That is one of those things. You can always count on Malarkey to start a gunfight, man. Clidson Rodriguez taking on Shannon Ross, another very questionable big favorite. Clidson Rodriguez dropped his UFC debut coming off the Contender Series. Shannon Ross was a big favorite on Contender Series and got melted. So big questions here. Both guys with a lot to prove. Clidson Rodriguez, younger, bigger, taking a lot of time off. What are you seeing on this one?
Yeah. Hate to be repetitive, but this is another similar one to the Jenkins and the Luma one, where we took a sharp bet early on Rodriguez. It's been inching up ever since then. What do we open this one at? We opened this one at 270. It's sitting at 350 here in Nevada. We took a respected bet early on Rodriguez. There hasn't been much pushback on Ross yet. We did take a pretty significant size bet on the under as well. That's where we're sitting right now. Lots of parlay money too on this one. So it seems like those three that I kind of said, maybe they're in line with those three betting a lot of parlays.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not someone that's down on Shannon Ross like a lot of people are. I think he made a very, very poor choice on the Contender Series, but his whole career has basically been Homer Simpson style. He takes a bit of a beating and relies on his toughness to come back, and just got caught. That could happen here against Klitzen Rodriguez, but he also could potentially do the same kind of thing that CJ did and put the young kid on his back foot. I kind of like that under too, man. We've seen Shannon Ross force these types of gunfights and get hurt. And if Klitzen Rodriguez has made any improvements offensively speaking in the time off, he could get clipped again, or he could break the kid. So like, it's another spot where I would probably be leaning violence less than picking a side if I was going to do anything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that seems to be what most of the bettors are thinking in this card so far. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of action on the over in any of these prelim fights.
It's tough to argue for these overs in this spot. I will definitely agree with that. But on the subject, our next fight has a juiced over. We've got Milsic Bagsarian taking on Joshua Kulibau, and this one has minus 165 to the over 2.5, which again kind of makes sense. These guys are super tough. We've seen them both be extremely durable throughout their fights and be able to kind of hang in there, but it's a pick 'em. Another Twitter war. People very heavily on both sides of this fight with big opinions. What's the action look like?
Hasn't been crazy action. I'd say this is probably the least bet fight on the card. We opened it at a 110. It seems like that was 110 both ways. It seems like that was probably the correct price because there's pretty good action on both sides. It doesn't seem like one way is pulling towards that favorite. I'm assuming this one's probably going to close close to a pick, and the way the action is, it probably should be a pick.
I think that makes sense as well. I'm not picking a side on this one, man. I'm leaning with Joshua Kulibau, but I refuse. I am not going to bet this one because I think it's appropriately lined at a pick 'em. We're going to find out a lot on Saturday. All right, everybody. We've got my guy Andrew from Superbook Sports here on Pub Sports Radio giving us the sharp action rundown. And do us a favor, hit the like button while you're here, please. We got 63 live viewers. Happy Friday to you all. Moving on to the next fight, Modestas Bukauskas taking on Tyson Pedro, minus 240 for Tyson Pedro in a spot where, I'll be honest with you, Andrew, I am this close to pulling the trigger on Modestas Bukauskas. I've been just wanting to fade Tyson for so long, and I just don't know if this is the right guy to do it, but it's the right line to do it, so I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. What's going on with you guys for this fight?
Yeah, this one's another one where it feels like we were pretty on target with the line. We opened at 230. It's sitting at 240. There's been a lot of parlay money on Tyson Pedro. Nothing crazy respectable on Pedro yet. We actually took a bet on a decent sized bet on the over. So I mean that could be a good thing for the dog here. But yeah, I got nothing on this one. This is another pretty low volume fight. Lots of parlay money tied into it, but nothing too crazy or significant thus far.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I actually talked about that over. I was tempted on that. We are in the big cage, and we all know Modestas Bukauskas likes to back up and circle out. Pedro's been a round one monster, but I could absolutely see this thing getting over that 1.5 mark. I've been tempted on that spot myself, rather than straight up trusting Modestas to get it done, just betting for him to survive until partway through the second round.
Yeah, I don't hate that look either. I think at 1.5, there's definitely a chance this one goes over.
For sure. All right, man. Alonzo Menifield taking on Jimmy the Brute Crute. Jimmy Crute taking some money. Been a long layoff for the kid. Taking on everybody's favorite garbage can, Alonzo Menifield, the man who just hits like an absolute truck. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter love it. This might be the public dog of the week, in my opinion, man. I've seen so many people on Alonzo Menifield, but I can't wait to hear what it looks like on your side of things.
Yeah, so this has actually been one of the most bet fights on this card, surprisingly. Lots of public action thus far on Crute. We did take a sharp bet on Menifield, but that number that was bet kind of got pushed into the sharp's face. Crute has climbed to be a bigger favorite since that bet. It opened at 220 on Crute. we're sitting at 170 here in Nevada. But yeah, really good two-way action on this fight. We did take a sharp bet on actually the same guy bet it twice, and the number he got was neither number was better than the number he could currently get. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Crude off the layoff. I like Jimmy Crude a lot, but I mean, the way I've seen it being bet, like if I knew nothing about the fights, I definitely would bet Menifield just because the sharp guys, and then all the public action on Jimmy Crute. But I don't know. I think Jimmy Crute should get it done. It seems like he could just take this guy down and kind of put him away. But we'll see. Yeah, I've been wrong plenty of times before. I'm not too sure.
Minifield is a guy that, like, I know exactly what to expect from him every single fight, and somehow get his fights wrong every single time. So I'm right there with you. He's one of these guys that just makes no sense, and he'll win in spots where he's not supposed to, and he'll lose the spots where he's supposed to just have an easy knockout and roll.
Right.
So very untrustworthy spot, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is another one we took a decent sized bet on the under. So I don't hate it. I'm assuming that Menifield's going to go out there swinging heavy. And like I said, I really wouldn't be shocked if Jimmy Crute was smart. You'd feel like he would take him down, try to gas him out, and maybe pull off a submission. But if he stands and bangs, that's probably favors the other guy early. So who the heck knows? It's a fun one for sure.
Sounds like a death sentence, standing and banging with Menifield when you've got those stubby little T-Rex arms. Next up, we got Parker Porter taking on Justin Tafa. Man, just another one. It's these closely lined ones. This whole card, this is the one I've seen people going back and forth on. There's a lot of love for Parker Porter. He's a character. We've all grown to absolutely love the guy. You know, Justin Tafa, he's got big bombs in his hands, but he's also very inexperienced at the UFC level.
Yeah.
Questions here, man. What are you guys seeing over there? I've noticed that the line is shorter a little bit on Porter than it was earlier in the week.
Yeah, we've definitely taken a lot of action on Porter. That same newer customer I was saying earlier, he bet Porter several times. I think I personally like Tafa a lot in this spot. I think he's much quicker. Porter's a tough dude, but I mean, Tafa has heavy hands, and I think he's much quicker. I think he's going to get him out of there. So if this is a spot that I had to say for the book, I definitely lean Tafa. But yeah, right now the way it's being bet, we definitely need that side as well. So nothing too much on the total. What did we open this one up at? We opened him up at 140, Tafa at minus 140. We're sitting 120 currently. So, I mean, definitely the action has pushed this price down a little bit, but I like Tafa in this spot, and yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I think he's just too quick for him.
I hear you. And I'm kind of been bouncing back and forth on this one all week. I kind of started on Parker Porter, and then I flipped over to Tafa, and now I'm kind of telling myself to fade my initial thought on Parker Porter. So I think I'm on the Tafa side. I think I'm going to land on the Tafa side. I don't know if my hard-earned money is getting anywhere near it, though, with that kind of uncertainty. You want to have the confidence when you put your cash down on a bet. I don't have that for this fight. So I'll lean Tafa.
Yeah, and Porter's one of those guys who just sometimes grinds out these decisions, and you're like, he doesn't do too much, but he gets the cash, and he just tires these guys out. And, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if in the third round, Tafa's the one who's a little bit more gassed than Porter is. I mean, you never know with these heavyweight fights.
Did you see the UFC embedded clip where they got Parker dancing in the background when they were welcomed over there in Perth? Oh, you got to find that one, man. He's off like in the background. He's not supposed to be in the shot, but he is going at it. The man's got some moves.
Okay, I'll have to see it.
I'll tag you. And Randy Brown taking on the biggest UFC star in a bit, Jack Della Maddalena. Everybody's super pumped up for this kid. I am too. Big favorite. Again, big step up in competition, which makes you kind of wonder if that's warranted. Man, I know this is the spot that we all get our hands caught in the cookie jar, but I kind of agree. I think that at some point Jack Della finds the chin of Randy Brown and probably clips him and puts him down. I just don't know that I can lay minus 330 to find out whether or not that's right. Randy Brown's been around for a long time. He's very good, very skilled, very talented. This is a challenge. I would like this line a lot more if it was like minus 200 or something. What are you seeing over there?
Yeah, so we opened this one at 320. It's sitting 350 here in Nevada. I know the line's a little bit different for you. We took a bet early on Jack, and there hasn't been a lot of action the other way. I don't think people are looking to fade Madalena yet. I don't know. He goes out there and brawls, and I wouldn't be shocked if he got caught. I mean, at this price, like you said, I don't think I could lay 350. I certainly think he deserves to be the favorite, but I think if you can get caught fighting the way he fights, and I would not be overly shocked. We did take a bet on the under, a decent sized bet on the under, which moved the line a little bit. We're sitting minus 55 on the under, and I think I lean that way too.
Me too.
Yeah, but that's where we're sitting right now.
Okay. Yeah, man, my entire card this week might just be unders. The spots that you and I have talked about on this card are all the spots I've been looking at this week. Rather than picking a side, I'm looking at an under, and this spot is the exact same case, because if Randy wins, I think Jack Della is going to force a firefight. I know Randy tends to be a decision machine, but I don't think you can be a decision machine against Jack Della. So I kind of feel like we're going to get a volatile fight, and one of these guys is going to get hurt at some point.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too.
Okay. All right. Co-main event time. We got Josh Emmett taking on Yair Rodriguez. A wonderful fight. I can't wait to hear what you guys have going on for this one. I'm a massive Josh Emmett fan. I'm a bit of a Yair Rodriguez hater. So my heart is well invested on the Josh Emmett side of things. But I think, again, my bet would be looking towards the under. It's a 5-round fight. Seems like the 4.5 at plus money doesn't seem like a half bad option to me. I think that's where I'd be looking, getting a little plus money and looking for some more violence. What are you guys seeing over there?
Yeah, so this one has been an interesting one. This one is a super high volume fight. We opened this one at 160. We're sitting 175. It's got as high as $2 on Rodriguez. There's a ton of action on Rodriguez in this fight. It seems like the public side of the week for sure. We did take 2 sharp bets on Emmett. Which the line has come down since then a little bit. The book certainly needs Emmett. We did, like you said, we did get hammered again on the under in this one. That this is the common theme of this card is the unders must definitely be in play to the bettors. So yeah, we're sitting in a spot where we need the dog here and we need the over. But yeah,
okay. Yeah, and I'd be right there in line. I think that makes sense. And Yair is a very popular fighter with a country behind him. It makes sense that he'd be getting all the action in this spot. I can't wait to see the face-offs. I need to see him because, man, the height and reach advantage for Yair is something that's very concerning for me, especially in the big cage and the way he likes to play at range. I could see him having a lot of success in this fight. Yeah,
this is going to be – how old is Emmett? 37. This is probably his one shot at getting the title. I mean, I don't hate a flyer on Emmett here. This is definitely one I'm looking towards betting. I'd say this and Tafa are probably my 2 favorite bets of the card so far. Yeah, it's an interesting fight. It should be a fun one. For sure.
It should be.
Sure.
It should be a whole lot of fun. All right. Real quick, our guy in the chat here, Jeff K, asking, Brown's been leveling up. What is Rude Boy by decision? Right now, I'm seeing plus 425 on Superbook. Plus 425. And yeah, I mean, that is his main path to victory. Like, there's some people out there that think he snatches a neck. That's 14-1. So if you want to grab him by submission, I don't hate either of those looks, quite frankly. And if you want to take the dog, take a shot. Next up, we got Alexander Volkanovski, Islam Makhachev, your pound-for-pound title, the main event. Everybody hit that like button for me real quick, and then we'll hear what Andrew's got to say about the sharp action on this one, because I'm sure it's all over the place.
Yeah, this is a huge fight. Tons of handle on this one. It looks like since I've been in here, we just took a very big bet on Volkanovski. I'm not sure who bet it. We did take sharp bet last night on Volkanovski when we were sitting at $4, so he got plus 330 back. which is a line that you probably won't see again until this fight. What did
Yeah.
we opened this one very early. We opened this one at 3:30 originally, and now we're sitting at 3:50. So it looks like we were pretty close coming up with that line. It should be right around there. But yeah, now where we're sitting, we certainly need Islam to get the victory, and yeah, that lots of action both ways. But the way we're sitting right now, we need Islam and the under.
Wow, that is crazy for me to hear that you guys actually need Islam. That's very surprising to me.
Yeah, it was much more even. It looks like we must have taken a very big bet since I came back here and started the podcast with you. But this fight there's been a lot of two-way action. I've seen a ton of Islam action as well. So I wouldn't be shocked if by the end we needed the other side, because there's just so much handle to be had. And the face-offs are going to be interesting too, because I mean, Volkanovski's a little bit smaller than him, so I wonder if that's going to warrant some more Islam bets. I'm not really sure how this one's going to close, but yeah, that's where we're sitting right now.
Wow. Okay. All right. Very interesting info, Andrew. Thank you again so much for sharing your time with us and giving the bettors all this inside information to look across the desk there for you. If you can, now's the right time. Plug anything you want. If there's any promos, or if you want to, shout out anything that might be going on, feel free. The floor is yours.
Yes, sir. So we got up 47 pages worth of Super Bowl props for our bettors at the Superbook. So I'm hoping you guys are not only just following UFC, take a look at some NFL Super Bowl props too. We'll have these UFC boosts up. We're going to put those up today, this afternoon. I was hoping you would do one again after blasting us last card, after knocking the book back a little bit. But it doesn't sound like you have too many strong opinions yet on this card. Yeah, follow me on Twitter if you haven't. I always enjoy coming on and talking the fights with you, and I'm excited to continue doing it.
Absolutely, man. It's always a good time. I may come up with something for you. I'll DM you back and give you something if I come up with something I really like. And that's, the last time out, I loved my spots that time. That card was one that I saw so clearly. Cards on the table for everybody watching. I have yet to place a bet. I haven't placed a single bet on UFC 284 because there's so much stuff going on with this card that I'm just unsure of. I don't just love any of these spots. So it's probably going to be a very light betting card here for me personally, but we appreciate you coming on, man. And anybody that does want to sign up over at Superbook Sports, if it's your first time deposit, you can get up to $1,000 bonus when you do so. And UFC 284 has the best bonus in the game, my absolute favorite, the knockout special. If you bet $84 or more on either the main or the co-main event, you qualify for the knockout bonus. And it's a $10 bonus for every knockout on the card. So if you've got a card like this one, where it shapes up to look to be pretty violent, people that knock each other out, you could be free rolling that $85 bet by the time you get to the main event, because if you get 8, 9, 10 knockouts, you're going to get a bonus of $80, $90, or $100. So just keep track of those KOs if you go ahead and decide to play a bet on the main event for UFC 284. And it looks like actually money line of any main card fight. So it's not just the main or co-main for this one. It appears to just be a main card fight. So they're opening it up a little bit. It's a good bonus to go ahead and hit and have some fun. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. That was the Sharp Action Report. Hit the like button on your way out. We'll see you guys late tonight for the Undefeated Post Weigh-In Show, because they still have yet to get on the scale today. It's driving me absolutely nuts. I'm used to seeing fighters in their undies by now, but it's not happening. So we're going to bounce. Thank you again, Andrew. Good luck, everybody, and we'll talk to you in a couple of hours.